We have a voice and we need to use it. Unfortunately, not enough Mumbaikars turned up to use that voice, certainly not at the voting booth. Maximum city minimum votes. You call us and you tell us why is it that in Mumbai, on voting day, it's chalta hai. People are not turning up, certainly not enough of them are turning up. 0120-434-1895 is our number. You can call us and share your views. We've got some Mumbaikars and some non-Mumbaikars on our panel tonight. We have here in our studios Shama Mohammed, spokesperson of the Congress Party, who incidentally lives in a Maharashtrian city, not Mumbai, but she's here in our studios. Nalin Kohli, spokesperson of the BJP. Mahesh Tapse is spokesperson of the NCP. Ayaz Memon, our resident sports commentator, and of course a famous Mumbaikar. Dilip Tail, actor in Mumbaikar. Sujay Kantawala, also lawyer in Mumbaikar, joining us on our panel tonight. I'll start with the Mumbaikars first because, you know, it's really a shame, Ayaz. I'll start with you. I mean, for a city that is so civic conscious, that talks about, you know, civic issues, infrastructure issues, a cosmopolitan city, some of those issues are there at the forefront of this election. 53.25% for the overall city. And the more cosmopolitan, the more urban the constituency is. Mumbai South, just 50%. Mumbai North Central, Poonam Mahajan versus Priya Dutt, under 50%. I mean, surely this is a shame, Ayaz. Surely this is a shame for Maximum City.
Oh, absolutely, Zakka. I think, and remember that the build-up to these elections were, I mean, everybody knew that Mumbai's track record in the last maybe couple of decades has been very, very disappointing where voting is concerned. And the constituencies you mentioned, South Mumbai and North Central, South Central, have been particularly, problematic in this aspect. What really amazes me is that this city has undergone a lot of problems, a lot of issues in the last, I may say, 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you don't see voting as a way to help yourself, if you don't see that as a right to correct your own life by choosing the people that you want, who will do the kind of work you deserve, then frankly, why should you complain? You know, and then,
exactly.
You know, might as well just take things lying down.
No, I'm very clear in my mind. If you complain, and rightfully so, when, you know, CST flyover collapse happens or when Andheri Futuo Bridge collapse happens, you rightfully come out and you complain and you protest. There is debates on television. There's reams and reams of newsprint dedicated. But Mahesh Tapse, on the one day that it matters, if voters don't turn up, then you lose your right to complain for the remaining 364 days.
I agree to what you say, but also I have to understand here that the present government has failed to communicate its message to the first time voter, which forms the bulk of the electorate. If you see the Prime Minister in his various speeches across various election rallies in the country, he's been targeting the first time voters. Unfortunately, in the city of Mumbai, the first time voters have chosen to neglect the present government, and I think this kind of a dissident or a discontent in their mind is very, very evident and clear in the figures that we have got today.
No, I can turn around and say, you know, conventional wisdom is higher the turnout, higher the anti-incumbency. So maybe they're not impressed with the alternative. Maybe they're not impressed with the opposition. But Nalin Kohli, respond to that. There were 2 lakh new voters. 2 lakh first-time voters. 1 second, Mahesh Tapse. 2 lakh new first-time voters, of which only 80,000 registered. So that's less than half. And of those 80,000, we don't know how many actually showed up. I mean, surely, and this speaks to both sides, both ruling and opposition, you're not capturing the imagination of the first-time voter.
I'm going to reject that and try to, Zakka, make this non-partisan, not a BJP, Congress or political. Although some people, I don't know who spoke before me, certainly he has taken it in the route of blaming the government and the Prime Minister possibly. Let's move ahead. This is a more important issue. First of all is that I think the government, the Election Commission and political parties by and large encourage voters to come out in large numbers. And this is across the board. The Election Commission has been running drives regularly. If I speak of the Prime Minister, he's been putting out tweets even to people who may conventionally not be seen as his supporters to encourage the first-time voters, appeal to them, not as BJP leader, as a Prime Minister. And I think other political parties, their leaders do the same. What we have here is, and these are my personal views, What we have is that there is a set of people who have everything to say in democracy, but they don't wish to exercise the right that strengthens democracy. And that's the fundamental right of voting. In fact, I personally, and that's my personal view, feel that none of the above choices, that nota that we've introduced, is also a negative to democracy. Because either people have to come out, join the field, and say, look, I'm an option, or encourage others to be the option. But to say I'm washing my hands off everybody is not strengthening democracy.
I agree.
Now, that's a larger debate. These are my views.
Okay.
But I think instead of finding a blame game, what we require is, irrespective of that, to make this a continuous movement where we don't restrict it only when elections come, but make it part of the school approach, not as a curriculum, but in schools, in colleges, that democracy goes with your right and you are powerful when each one of you comes out.
One of the things that I noticed is the poorer the constituents are, the poorer the constituency is, the more you go down the social ladder and the economic ladder, the greater the voter turnout in Mumbai. Let's say, Shama Mohammed, in Mumbai North, which is on the outskirts, this is almost literally on the outskirts, this is Gopal Shetty versus Urmila Matondkar, is a 57.76, and by the time you have the final figures, I'm pretty sure it'll be 58, inching closer to 60. Whereas in South Bombay, which is the most affluent, the richest constituency in the country, it's barely 50%. I mean, what does that say about the Mumbai voter, as indeed about urban voters across this country?
So one thing I agree with Nalin is that this is not a particular party issue. It's here. It's you've given the statistics before. It's not just this term. It has been in 9, it has been in 14, it's been now. So it's not, it is something to do with the city, how it works, and it's not an urban voter. But if you look at, if it's urban, then we should look at Kerala, places, there are urban cities there. The voter turnout was very high. I've just come from there. It was like 75 in Cochin and all. I mean, there are cities over there. That's an urban voter. And Kerala's villages are also, you know, like you can't call them villages. You have to call them. You have to call them suburbs, like you call abroad. So the issue is something to do with that particular region.
Particular cities.
And you have to understand they had the highest petrol prices this time.
Okay,
90, and still they have not come out to.
We have the urban vote divide amongst the cities. I just want to see if this is just a peculiar Mumbai problem, or is this a wider urban problem? So let's fire that figure for the different cities that have gone to polls so far. All of South India has voted. Shama is right. So in Chennai, Bangalore, again, you know, the voter turnout there, here you go. This is Mumbai versus the rest of Maharashtra. Mumbai is 53.25%. Hyderabad was much lower than that. It was 44.75. We'll look at if that was a peculiar phenomenon. But let's look at some of the other cities. We've got Chennai, which voted. Bengaluru was 52.1, slight shade under Mumbai, but Bengaluru is also battling with this problem of low voter turnout. 57 in Chennai, 57.15%. So that is better than Mumbai certainly, but better than what it can be. Delhi, this is the last election, was 64, almost 65% the last election, and I bet it'll go up in 2019 above that figure. And then you have Kolkata, which last time was 68%. And this time too, Kolkata's voting in the last phase, I'm sure it'll go above 68%. Sujoy Kantawala, the simple point I'm making is, there are cities like Mumbai, Bengaluru to some extent, where there is a peculiar problem of urban apathy. The urban voter is apathetic, is not inspired by the political field. And there are some cities, Delhi, Kolkata for example, where a lot more urban voters come out and vote. So I refuse to believe that this is just a generic urban voter problem, because in some cities people are coming out. Shama is right. In Cochin, there was a 77% voter turnout.
Yes.
It's as much as city.
Yes. See, Zakka, I'll tell you that as far as Mumbai is concerned, the Mumbaikars are quite well aware of the issues that are plaguing them. You talked about the flooding. I am part of the PIL dealing with manholes. Yeah. I am part of the PIL dealing with Kamla Mills. So, CST bridge that collapsed, we did a debate if you remember. Now, at that time, everyone comes out and they lost their protest. But when it is this particular one day where they have to show that their vote means something, and this is their constitutional and fundamental right as well as obligation respectively, they take it as a long weekend. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, holiday mil gaya, chalo. You will be surprised to know that the hill stations surrounding Mumbai, they are charging double the rate which they normally charge in holiday season, and in spite of that all rooms are overbooked. So this is what is reflecting the mentality of the people when they are supposed to be in the city, they are supposed to cast their vote. In my building precinct, that is Darya Mahal, that is in South Mumbai, Nepean Sea Road, there are about 6 polling booths, different polling booths, and they were chock-a-block in the morning. So from 9 to 11, people actually came down. I saw a lot of kids in my locality for the first time voters, they came and voted. But when it became afternoon and evening, it kind of really tapered off and it kind of died. You know, there was a silence kind of over there.
Yeah.
But therefore it shows that some people, they prefer to vote, but they came and voted. Thereafter, they did their other thing, went out for lunch or something.
Okay.
But there was a huge amount of people who took this weekend off, which should not have been done.
On
They
that
should have come
front,
and cast their votes.
on that front,
They should have voted.
I hold some of the responsibility with the Election Commission as well. And Dilip Tayal is also joining us. He's also an actor, a prominent Mumbaikar. I'll get him as well as Ayaz Memon's voice in on this. Dilip Tayal, you know, how can the Election Commission schedule an election in a city like Mumbai? You have Saturday, Sunday, voting on Monday, Tuesday is a working day, but Wednesday is again Maharashtra Day. So most working class people are going to turn around and say, you know, if I take a Tuesday off, I can get Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I can get a whole week off. I'd rather take the long weekend off than actually show up at the voting booth. So some amount of the blame should also go to the Election Commission for this really mindless scheduling for the Mumbai phase of the election.
Hi. Hello.
Yes, go on, Mr. Tayal. I can hear you.
I'm having a lot of problem with the audio, but a very good evening to you. I don't think it's the Election Commission's fault at all. I mean, this was pre-planned, and it's absolutely no excuse that it's hot or it's a holiday or there are more holidays. I think Mumbaikars once again have let themselves down. I mean, I think they ought to come out and vote. And there's a host of reasons that I think mainly it is laziness and the complete apathy. They'd much rather go on a holiday than come and vote. And that's the truth of the matter in many areas. So let's not run away from that fact. I mean, I just think every Mumbaikar, most Mumbaikars who lived there for any period of time are aware of the problems. As you all have discussed, there are a whole bunch of issues in Mumbai that need to be dealt with. But when it comes to voting, they'd much rather be on a holiday. I think, there's no excuse for this.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. This is inexcusable.
Right,
yeah, it is absolutely inexcusable if Mumbaikars think that going on a long holiday is more important than voting.
I've
got a couple of callers. Just give me 1 minute. I've got a couple of callers. I'm going to go across to our callers first, and then I'll bring back our guests as well. I think Jaya is our first caller from Mumbai. Good evening, ma'am. First things first, did you vote? Did you vote?
Of course I did, and that's why I enjoyed this right to call, on CNN, to respond on CNN.
Congratulations, you are one of the few who did.
Good governance.
Yeah, why are people not turning up in Mumbai?
Pardon?
Why are people not turning up enough in Mumbai to vote?
See, I see most of them, as it's already been discussed on your panel, by the panelists and you, they have gone on a holiday. And to my dismay, I found that many people in my locality were disenfranchised for the first time. They were taken by surprise. And yesterday and day before, when they thought that they could do something to have their names added, they were informed that now nothing can be done in the last moment. So here I will hold the individuals responsible and the party workers responsible and the officials.
Okay.
How did their names all of a sudden get erased? And possibly because of this indifference, those who went on a holiday, I feel there should be strict law enforcing voting. They should be penalized.
Okay, that's a separate debate. But yeah, thank you, ma'am, for your call. Lalit is also calling us from Mumbai. Lalit, good evening. Did you vote, and why do you believe that fellow Mumbaikars have not come out?
I was the first person to be at the polling booth.
Oh, congratulations!
But I allowed one senior citizen to vote before me. I personally believe if you don't value the sacrifice made by those who brought this privilege to us, we are insulting them.
Yeah, I agree.
There has to be there has to be a kind of moral duty and responsibility towards the nation. It is not somebody should come and invite you. It's out of your own duty sense you should go and vote. I saw many senior citizens.
Yeah.
But one thing is very sorry that Mumbai South
Yeah.
is having the lowest turnout compared to all other Mumbai segments, and that happens every time.
Yeah.
हमको तो व्हाट्सएप पे बहुत कॉमेडी मैसेज आते हैं कि मुंबई साउथ को तो घर पे ईवीएम ले जाएंगे फिर भी वो लोग वोट नहीं.
Thank you for joining us and thank you for sharing that joke. But really, I mean, I know Nalin was nodding his head very vigorously. But Ayaz, I mean, should the Election Commission also not be asked why would you schedule a poll on a Monday right after a weekend, and when you know that Maharashtra Day is another public holiday which is just a day away?
Well, I mean, you can make a case about the scheduling of the elections, but I think, you know, look, this is a malady which is a recurring malady. It's not just about this elections, because we've seen the turnout in the 2014 elections and perhaps even before that, where the figures remain more or less the same. I think a couple of factors here. One is that it's not that people are not politically aware. I think one of the problems, and by extension about urban India, is, you know, who cares? You know, it's like that, you know, irrespective of which government is in power or which dispensation is coming, you know, हमको क्या फर्क पड़ता है? The other, I think, in cities like, say, in Delhi, which votes with a very high percentage, and certainly Kolkata, we'll see when it happens, you know, the Karyakartas, the party workers of various parties, they address the issue. They go out and make people vote. They build up that tempo, you know, and reaches a crescendo approaching the voting day, which is not what you see in Mumbai or Bangalore, as we've seen, you know, more and more, or even Hyderabad, which was pretty dismal this year. So I think this is, you know, the political functionaries in a city like Mumbai,
but
you don't really see
no. There used to be a time. There used to be a time. There used to be a time when, you know, the Shiv Sena, which is a Bombay party, which is a cadre-based party, used to go knocking on doors trying to get out the vote. I mean, are you saying that that doesn't happen? I mean, I know that, you know, Kolkata is a very politically active city, here in Delhi also, because it's the political capital. There's a lot of voter mobilization. But surely in Mumbai also there used to be a time when that used to happen.
But I think that there is a weakening of that. You're absolutely right. You know, I mean, these are cadre-based parties. So the people would go out and knock on doors and get the voters out. I think, you know, the issue is I want to help, you know, these guys in Mumbai, and I count myself as a Mumbaikar. We have several issues that need to be addressed. But I think it's reached a stage, sadly, where we don't want to help ourselves, and I think that's really a condemnation of the mindset.
Let's get a couple more callers, and then I'll go back to our panelists. Praful is calling us from Mumbai. Praful, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah.
This is partly not true. Mumbaikars are very, very conscious, and most of the people were on the street for the voting. I stood for 3 hours for voting. Most of the people whom I talked, they were more than 3 hours. The ATM machines were not working properly. There was no proper arrangement. And many people's names were also missing from the voters list. This is one of the reasons that the percentage in Bombay is very less.
Okay, thank you for your call. Suresh is calling us from Mumbai. Mr. Suresh?
Zakka, my question to Shama.
Yeah.
Many people preaching well, but actually acting like a dumps. I am using this actually harsh words because social media head of Ramya Spandana did not vote actually 4 times. You check it up actually. Why don't actually they don't do?
Okay.
When you people don't act and teach them, how come voters do well?
Okay, Suresh, thanks. I didn't quite follow his question, but I think he was alluding to some party member of yours who's prominent on social media, but apparently hasn't voted. I don't know what the facts of this case are.
How does he know if the facts? Is he the one who was there in that?
I don't know.
Is he part of some organization who's there?
But you know, I think the larger message, and Nalin, you know, you were there with us in the morning. You were there in the previous phases as well. All through the morning, we were running these pictures of violence from Bengal, right? And you know, at the end of the day, Asansol, where we reported this violence from, has 80% voting. Mumbai has 50% voting. I mean, I'm not saying violence is justified or okay, but surely something's got to be wrong in our democratic system where there are violent scenes in a constituency and 80% of voters turn out. And Mumbai, which is the most affluent city, the most affluent parts of the country, people haven't shown up.
You know, Zakka, I was laughing for a moment because the generalizations that we tend to make in a democracy as large as India sometimes really are funny in a very, very macabre way. We go out and say that the less affluent people vote. And then there will be others who will go out and say that, oh, they are the ones who get motivated because, you know, they are purchased, sometimes liquor is distributed. But I believe in the inherent strength of Indian democracy, and I do believe that the voter who is disadvantaged goes out and vote. Even if attempts are made to influence them, they still know who they wish to vote for. Among the affluent sections, there is a comment that someone made on the show which needs to be taken seriously. It's the sense of disinterest in terms of what difference does it make.
Yeah.
Our numbers are not large enough. But I disagree, because urban constituencies are increasing in India as we are becoming more and more urbanized.
Yeah.
And that's why I said it has to be a clear movement, which is a social movement. It can't just be the responsibility of politicians or the election commission or even celebrities. They are out there and you have to admire them for being there. Normally the converse is said. Now let's come to Bengal. There are two reasons to it. And I think there are, and I'm again making a non-partisan comment. The first is, when there is anger, the voting percentage definitely goes up, which is why you tend to take the normal argument that anti-incumbency leads to a greater voting percentage, which is what you alluded to.
Yeah.
The second is also that electoral malpractice sometimes can be the cause of higher percentage. Now, there have been states, and you know, there have been petitions in the courts where a booth has 100, the voting percentage is 106%, which is an impossibility.
Yeah.
Because you've got basically 1,000 votes or 800 votes and you're voting more than that. But that's a generalized case in a malpractice. For Bengal now, specifically, I think it's an anger vote also. Because Bengal is fairly stratified in the current voting, and I'm preventing myself from making any partisan comment. But yes, I think it's a voter anger.
Okay, we'll see that on the 23rd of May. I've got a couple more callers. Mr. Shiv is calling us again from Mumbai. Mr. Shiv, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Zakka.
Yeah, go on.
I come from Mumbai North. By far, we are like 58%.
Yeah, almost 58.
Now,
yeah, that's right.
Highest in the rest of Mumbai, but still it is very pathetic. What I get to hear now is like some voters say that my name is not figuring in the list. It's just a nuisance value. I mean, like for 6 months, for more than 6 months, on every media, there were links available that you should go and check your name and everything. Everybody was following up so badly. I mean, like at the end of the day, when you say that my name is not figured out in the list, this adds up to only nuisance value. Either you ignored or you're just not interested.
I agree with you.
As somebody said, that you deserve the government the way you are, and that is what is going to happen. I mean, it's really pathetic. I'm really sorry. I mean, Mumbai has let us down.
All right, Shiv, thank you very much. I share in your anger and frustration, because as 58%, which is the highest in all of Mumbai's constituencies, 58% in Mumbai North, that still can be much, much better. Apurv is also joining us from Mumbai. Apurv, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening to you. I've been tracking your story about low voter turnout, and I feel very sad that today was a holiday declared specially that person could vote. And persons chose to go to Lonavala, Mathेरान, Mahabaleshwar, enjoy their holiday, not forgetting that if they don't vote, they don't have a right to criticize.
Yeah.
And voting is a national duty, especially when the stakes are high, when one person calls up Prime Minister Chokidar Chor hai, and then he attributes that statement to the Supreme Court, and then he has to file an affidavit. So I personally feel voting, in order to have maximum voter, if a person is an employment, that employer should ensure that his employee votes.
Okay, that's an interesting thought. I don't know how we can enforce that, but thank you very much, Apurv. Yeah.
So he said about the Chowkidar Chor, one person who's got to the Supreme Court, but I want to tell him the person who's called Prime Minister Modi Chowkidar Chor is Uddhav Thackeray, and Uddhav Thackeray is with the Prime Minister right now, so I don't understand what they're saying. And another point which Nalin said,
it's a political.
But
anyway,
and
we've tried to keep this away
so I
as
want
much
to
as
talk
possible.
on
One second, Shreya. Yeah, finish.
Nalin, he also said about
Zakka?
this anger aspect, which I agree, which I also saw in Kerala. I don't want to be partisan or anything on that, but there is a thing that a certain particular party they want to get rid of,
Okay.
and for this particular reason, a lot of people have gone out. One, of course, the reason is Rahul Gandhi ji standing from the south. That is, the whole of Kerala has come out for him. Another reason is, let's not forget, Kerala is nearly 50% minorities, and we have seen a lot of things against minorities in the last 5 years. So that anger I can also notice in Kerala, which they've come out to vote. He's right. That anger is there for them. They've come out to.
So the anger is there in Bengal, that anger is there in Kerala as well.
Yes, and I've seen people from the
I want to bring the focus back to Mumbai though, but quick response.
May I also come with a non-partisan comment?
Yeah, quickly though.
So I'll say a non-partisan comment that there is a general anger about the opposition in terms of a lack of leadership, and we see wonderful and large number of people at Prime Minister Modi's thing, and that's a positive vote against misgovernance where it exists.
Okay.
Come on, we should, I think, avoid and keep it serious.
Let me get Dilip Tail and Sujoy back into the debate. Dilip Tail, again, I keep coming back to this point that it's not like Mumbai does not have problems. I mean, one of the arguments I keep hearing is people have made this distinction between local body elections, I mean, electing a corporator as opposed to electing your member of parliament. So much of the civic issues, perhaps the corporators have a larger role to play. The BMC has a larger role to play than your member of parliament. So that perhaps explains some of the decrease in the parliamentary election voter turnout. But seriously, you had local body elections last year in Mumbai. It's not like the turnout there set the charts on fire. It was thereabouts. It was 50, 52, thereabouts. It was not 60 or 70%. So whether it is corporation elections or it is state assembly elections, again the last assembly elections was again 52, 53%. Now the parliamentary elections are also around 52, 53%. I mean, surely there's got to be a reason why Mumbai cannot breach that 55% or 60% mark when other cities can seem to do. And this argument of, they've figured out that it's more important to vote for corporators than for members of parliament. It does not work. At least the evidence in terms of voter turnout figures doesn't seem to suggest that. Dilip Tail, you want to weigh in on that?
Well, you pretty much answered your question. I mean, what exactly is the question? I mean, we went through this. The fact remains, you have a point in terms of corporator, the internal elections and the parliamentary elections. But the fact, I mean, I've lived in the city so long, and of course it's got problems. I mean, the city is practically falling apart until 4 years ago, when the infrastructure issues were dealt with in a very positive and a very aggressive and a robust manner, and it's pulled things back, which is very good to see. But the fact remains that with all the problems that Mumbaikars have and all the issues that they have to deal with, I mean, something as petty as this comes along. I mean, I hear people saying that it was too hot. People saying that I went on holiday, so I couldn't come back. This is the typical Mumbaikar sort of apathy. Call it what you like. I can't figure out as to why in such an important election as every election is, that why people would not come out and vote. And rest of the year, you'll find Mumbaikars screaming the most about this and that, and how the BMC has let them down, and how the building industry is doing this, how the infrastructure hasn't happened. But when it comes time to take the responsibility and come out there and vote, I'm very sorry, but I think Mumbai has let itself down once again. There is no excuse for all these
I think you're absolutely right. There is no other way to describe this. Mumbai has let itself down. Sujoy Kantawala, I want to get a quick round of closing comments. Sujoy Kantawala.
Zakka, just a quick comment.
Sujoy, go first,
Zakka, let me tell you that 35, 40 years back, when we didn't have all these smartphones, internet and iPads, every managing committee of the high-rises on Nepean Road used to catch all the young naughty boys in the building and say, form a band, go to every house, ring the bell, remind everyone that they have to come down and vote. And when you finish all the flats, that is 120, 130 flats, we'll give you chocolates. See, that was the collective participation. The kids were encouraged to ring the bell of every flat. What do you see that today? Today we don't see that happening anywhere. Today no kids go to their houses and remind uncle and auntie, please come down and vote. That collective consciousness
you would
is
imagine that, the ringing of the bell is replaced on WhatsApp or on other social media, that people are conscientious enough. to see social media and other newer forms of communication and come out and vote. But I'll get a quick round of closing comments. Ayaz, one of the callers suggested, you know, it's a mercantile city. It's the financial capital. There are employers, public and private employers. Is it possible that employers enforce voting?
Well, it's possible. I mean, look, in Australia, voting is compulsory. I mean, by law. So, you know, all kinds of policies can be put into place. But in Mumbai, I can tell you what's happened this time certainly is that almost every organization, every corporate sector undertaking, whatever it is business house, has given people 2 hours leave to vote. You can report for work 2 hours late if you want to vote and then come to work, or you can leave work early 2 hours, go and vote, or take 2 hours off during the working day and go and vote. So I think that's, you know, despite that, if the attendance is low where the polling is concerned, then the problem is not about your workplace. There is the other issue, of course, that Mumbai attracts a lot of migrants. So at the time of elections, a lot of people go back to their villages, native places to vote. But that does not or should not reflect in the overall voting percentage, because the voting percentage is, you know, based on the number of
electors who are registered there. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a mindset issue. It's about, you know, we are above. I think somewhere in Mumbai and some of the other metros, we are above all this kind of a feeling has come in, which is really sad.
But Mahesh Tapse, what needs to be done? I mean, 50, 52, 53, thereabouts is what Mumbai has voted for the last 30 years.
If I may interrupt.
Okay. I agree to what Mr. Ayaz Menon said.
I mean, I agree with Ayaz.
There is a very strong possibility that Mumbai comprises of a very large number of migrant workforce.
I completely agree.
And during these periods, especially in the month of April and May, they go back to their natives, and they also have their voting list in the native at their native.
Yeah, but there's a migrant. I mean, it's a country of migrants. So there are migrant population in Delhi, in Kolkata, in Chennai, Bangalore. I don't see this problem happening there. But I'm going to leave it at that. Quick word, 10 seconds.
I just want to say is that elections should not be in such hot months, because it's very difficult for the candidate also to campaign. I saw it. I was there. It's very difficult. We are not. Everybody is not a Hema Malini sitting inside a Mercedes with an umbrella on top. I'm sorry to say that.
It used to be.
But, you know, it was tough. And also schools are closed. A lot of them are on vacation, with parents take them and take off outside the country or somewhere else. So I believe elections in India should be in time when it's less hot, because it's really hot in southern part of India.
It used to be in October.
So it used to be, and because of Mr. Vajpayee, we had to move it. Remember, it was in 2004. They preponed it to win the election, but they lost.
I mean, you can't blame the election commission for
that.
No,
we're not blaming the election commission, but the government of the day moved it.
I'm going to wrap up. Thanks very much. Nalin's going to stay on with us for the second.
Last comment, may I have? Okay, Zakka, I wanted to make another point.
10 seconds, please. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. I need to wrap up quickly.
Yeah, I think the larger issue here is that the voter is not able to any longer distinguish why he's voting and for whom. The MP is for really the union government. The state, the MLA is for the state, and it's the corporator who's really for the local issues. But what's happening is, because of urban infrastructure issues and all, the voter tends to blame everybody for the same thing.
Yeah, that's right.
And what we need to understand is that's also part of the education system. When you're electing a central government, it's not. It's for the policy that may help with the roads improving, but it's not about delivering the road within your locality at your doorstep.
Okay, all right.
But
we'll leave it at
that comes with education. I see that in Kerala, they vote differently for Lok Sabha and for Assembly.
Okay,
so education is very important.
I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to wrap up. I'm out of time. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for on this debate. Another phase of voting in Bengal and another spell of violence, and the epicenter this time was Asansol, from where clashes between voters and the police to the BJP candidate and Union Minister Babul Supriyo's car being vandalized. Bengal saw all sorts of drama today. It was not just Asansol but also in Birbhum. And then came the big twist from the Prime Minister, who was campaigning in Bengal. He claimed that as many as 40 MLAs from the ruling Trinamool Congress were in touch with the BJP.
तेईस तारीख को जब नतीजे आएंगे, चारों तरफ कमल खिलेगा, तो तुम्हारे विधायक भी आपको छोड़ करके भाग जाएंगे। दीदी देख लेना। आज भी दीदी तुम्हारे 40 विधायक मेरे संपर्क में है, आज भी।
commission of horse trading against these comments that have been made by the Prime Minister. He was at a campaign rally where he said, and I quote, as many as 40 TMC MLAs are in touch with him, and that on the 23rd of May, there will be mass desertion in the TMC ranks. Let me get in our guest, Nalin Kohli, spokesperson of the BJP, and Tausif Ahmed Khan is TMC supporter. First on that breaking news, Nalin, you want to weigh in? TMC filing a complaint with the Election Commission accusing the Prime Minister of openly talking about horse trading?
Where is there any conversation about money? Any conversation about inducement? The Honorable Prime Minister's statement is very clear. It's a statement of desertion. From the TMC, their cadre deserting them. How is that a violation of the model code of conduct? I mean, there is a limit to democratic thinking, but you can't take it into the realm of ludicrous thinking.
Tausif Ahmed Khan, I want to talk a little bit about the violence that happened, because it's not just an isolated incident that happened in Asansol today. There was violence in the second phase in Raiganj, there was violence in the third phase, there was violence today. And it's not just, you know, it's not just BJP folks who are being targeted. In Raiganj, left cadre were targeted. In the previous phase, Congress, there was one Congress supporter who died. Today, Babul Supriyo's car was attacked. It seems like the TMC is out to get all of its opponents by all means, fair and foul.
Well, it is not what it seems to you, or perhaps the narrative that is being trying to build. Today, the Trinamool supporters were beaten up in Birbhum district. In the third phase of election, the Trinamool
where are the pictures?
Injured in Domkal.
I am showing you pictures of the car of Babul Supriyo that was vandalized.
Today, election commission has directed an FIR against Babul Supriyo.
I know that's
for
true.
illegally entering into the polling booth and threatening the voters and abusing the polling agents. So the ताली एक हाथ से नहीं बजती है. So if you're going to make it a narrative as only the TMC is doing all this,
Nalin, you want to respond?
No,
look,
BJP
first of all, Tausif, I don't know if you watch this channel or if you have come on my program. I'm not in the business of creating narratives, so take that argument away. Nalin Kohli, respond. I mean, do haathon se tali bajti hai, that's the argument from Tausif Khan, because the EC has directed that an FIR be filed against Babul Supriyo.
So, Mr. Babul Supriyo is yielding to the law. The counter thing is that what is the Trinamool Congress doing? They're taking law into their own hands. Are they not bomb factories that have been discovered there? Are they not BJP? Did I interrupt him? Zakka, look, that's not the kind of debate I like. I don't agree with a word that he says, but I have the decency to listen to him. I'll say what I have to. I'm not asking him to agree with me. So therefore, let me come back to the top. With regard to the Trinamool Congress, they need to answer that in West Bengal, why is it that Ahmed Bhai Shah's helicopter will not be allowed to get landing permission? How is it that BJP worker after worker is found hanging on trees? Is that free and fair democratic? Okay, take out the visuals of what we saw in the Panchayat elections. Women being dragged by the head. Vote and voting boxes in ponds. It's not we who have manufactured it. The media has gone out there and seen it. And what Babul Supriyoji's car being vandalized? So what? Is that a manufactured thing? The Trinamool Congress probably sees the writing on the wall. Lakhs of people are coming to Prime Minister Modi's rally. The BJP is a formidable force in vote share.
In Asansol, for example, almost all of the 100% polling booths there were covered by central paramilitary forces. And yet there is violence. Surely the TMC must be feeling nervous, because these are TMC cadre who are indulging in this violence. What explains Babul Supriyo's car being targeted? Are you suggesting that the BJP themselves have created this controversy with BJP cadre attacking Babul Supriyo's car?
Any cadre wielding a baton is easy for anybody to label them as TMC cadre. You don't know for a fact whether they are TMC cadre or BJP cadre.
So in Raiganj, Mohammad Salim gets targeted, that's not TMC cadre. In the last phase, a Congress party worker is killed, that's not TMC cadre. Babul Supriyo, his car is attacked, that's also not TMC cadre. So who are these people? Either there's some organized mafia that's running Bengal, or they must be affiliated to a political party.
why has then Election Commission directed for an FIR to be registered against Babul
No,
Supriyo?
the FIR is for Mr. Supriyo entering the polling booth, which he had no business entering.
No, it's not only about entering, it's also
interfering with the poll process. Interfering with the poll process.
It's also about making provocative statements.
That's
He's
not
a
the same
habitual
thing.
offender.
That's not the
He's
same
a
thing as wielding
troublemaker.
lathis and throwing bricks at a car. It's not the same thing,
No.
Mr. Khan.
But any form of violence, either perpetrated by any party, is condemnable. I am not standing in support of violence.
Okay.
I am asking you to please think, where is the troublemaker? This Babul Supriyo last year had made a statement publicly against the police that I will skin police people alive.
Okay, I'm going to get a final word from Nalin Kohli as we close this debate.
And I would like to say about the horse trading. Allow me 1 minute.
Zakka.
Allow me 1 minute.
Okay.
About the horse trading.
30 seconds.
My friend has said that people are they are all coming to a prime minister by themselves. Why is prime minister a magnet that everybody else is lower, that they will get attracted? BJP today is the richest party in India, and they are indulging into horse trading, and it is unbecoming of a prime minister to openly acknowledge it and openly say it publicly that he is in touch with 40 of the MLAs.
Nalin, final word.
And using his money
If
power.
an opposition politician had said this, let's say Rahul Gandhi had said this, Nalin, wouldn't you have launched onto it?
3 comments, one on the Honorable Prime Minister. People, why do they go meet a rock star? Are they herded there? Why do people go to Mahatmas and saints and imams and Maulvis in large numbers? Are they paid to go?
Do not compare Mahatma
People
with
go to people
Modi.
they are attracted to for positive.
He's a politician.
Look,
No, one
he
second, he
started
didn't interrupt you,
interrupting.
please.
Sir, you are comparing
please
Mahatma
stop.
Gandhi.
I didn't.
Mahatma Gandhi.
No, there has to be a
is
debate.
too
There
high
has to
for
be a
you to
debate.
compare.
I didn't say Mahatma Gandhi. This
Tausif.
man is just on his own trip, man.
Tausif, he didn't
You
interrupt
say
you. Let him finish.
Mahatma.
In any case, I have to wrap up in the next 30 seconds. Nalin, quickly, please.
Look, I have to finish. I want to finish my point. So why do people go? If they are attracted to him for a positive reason. And Prime Minister Modi, yes, is magnetic when it comes to the work he does and whether it's personality or the way he serves the people. Number 2, Mr. Khan must be complimented for actually finally putting it out there. If the violence is not by the TMC cadre, as he claims, and he says that it is by someone else, then it shows Bengal has lost control. The government has no control on law and order.
Election
and
Commission is running this.
In either case, that's a self-inflicted.
Okay, I'm wrapping up. Unfortunately, completely out of time. But like I said, I don't think it augurs well for any state where you have repeatedly, not just in one phase, but phases 2, 3 and 4, where we have seen violence, and the people at the receiving end of that violence have been from different political parties and with different political affiliations. But the perpetrators all seem to be coming from one party or one political affiliation. That's not good for democracy. I'm going to take a break, in fact, wrap up Face-Off. Thanks very much to Nalin Kohli and to Tausif Khan. But we'll be back again for the 5th phase. That's going to be on the 6th of May. And remember, counting day, May 23rd, Super Thursday is just 24 days away. This is your #1 election destination, CNN News 18. Up next, Viewpoint with Bhupen Chauhan.